went to Boston to study at Harvard for 4 years, where I graduated cum laude with a degree in African American Studies. My original thought was to do biology, but the competitive sciences really drove me into a much more humanitarian look at the world, and a really beautiful department there. Studied under amazing professors and got to travel abroad, learn Spanish in Venezuela, learn photography, got to study music history, and just really opened myself to a different kind of humanities education. Since early on, I've been a musician. I picked up the French horn and played that for 8 years. Decided it was way too big and required way too much practice, so I picked up the harmonica. Since then, I've been playing from jazz band in high school to a rock cover band in college to for the past 10 years we've had a band called Guatemala Beats, which plays some Latin funky folk and has brought us around the world. Very low key. We're all got our own gigs on the side, and feels very much like a bunch of friends getting together and playing every time. And it's a really beautiful experience to be able to share with people through this musical expression. Right after graduation, I went to Guatemala as a volunteer. I was, I think, running away from my idea of what people were doing in my class, which was investment banking or corporate consulting. And I volunteered for an organization called Photo Kids, teaching young people photography and Photoshop. It was a really beautiful experience. I was pretty amazed to understand that helping people is a lot more complicated than it seems. I love Guatemala City. I stayed there for about 15 years. I did lots of things, from teaching photography at a university and also working in the investigation and the communications department, to starting a capoeira group. With my partner at the time, we had learned in Philadelphia and came to Guatemala, and no one was doing capoeira, so we got the blessings of our mestre and started a group which is still practicing to this day. My wife, Jessie, and the rest of us got together about 3 years ago, just about 3 years ago exactly, and talked about the ways that we were unsatisfied with the lives we were leading and the work that we were doing. And from there made a vision of what it would look like to create something new. And that's how the vision for Kula Collective started. Over about, as Kobe says, it took us 3 days to write 2 sentences. But really, by taking that time, we were able to understand much better where it was we were going, and plan from there in a much more intentional way. I've been getting deeper and deeper into the yoga world. Started facilitating myself, which has been a beautiful journey. Being able to sustain myself through something as beautiful as the practice of yoga, and being able to share that with other people has been a true sort of realization for me. I've lived outside of the country for most of the last 20 years. To me, this has been a huge learning experience. From the first time I got my passport stamped, I really started to understand what it was like to be looked at as an other, and what it was like to be able to learn from other contexts and people. Throughout my time, I've developed a second home. I have people I consider to be family, loved ones all over the world at this point, And it's such a beautiful thing to have that feeling of, of expanded love and expanded acceptance and an expanded understanding of who I am. These global communities are, I feel, really key to sort of developing this mass of people that are clear about their own purpose and that are able to live that purpose in kind of work that brings them joy. And almost always that joy comes from actually helping others feel joy. And so as we empower these kinds of people more and more to not have to work in a bank moving money between rich people, and enabling them to figure out ways to generate abundance for themselves, doing things that they like and love and that empower them, that the more of these communities we create and empower and connect, we'll be able to change the world. I firmly believe that the only way to face the crises and the difficulties, challenges that the world is facing right now is to come together in collaborative design.